All right, guys. We don't come again. On this particular one, I still Edo State matter now with day. But the genesis, how it takes starts, now we want to take you to so. Sambo don't come now. A spokesperson for Arise TV don't come tell us, you know, waiting him understand about this killing. Where happened to this 16 Fulani men or S-men, I don't know how they call them, for Edo State. It went on by making it clear when people lose trust on the government, on the security forces, in most cases, they resort to self-help. It not be like say I don't spill everything out. I want to make you listen to Wetin Sambo want talk for this video. Let us share.
For coming in. Let me start with you, Sumner. I mean, how much has this incident intensified concern over rising mob violence in Nigeria and things like, you know, misinformation and the erosion of law and order in this country?
Well, we've had this mob culture in Nigeria for a long time now, and speaks to the fact that we really need to, number one, increase public education among lots of Nigerians, and it actually tells you how a lot of people do not value, you know, the rights of their fellow citizens in the country. Because once something happens, immediately an action is taken without, you know, much investigation. And then it also says a lot about the sort of public confidence people have in security agencies. Because, I mean, why was there no presence of the police for, you know, 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes, an hour? That this actually happened. And could it also be that some of these people who undertook this carnage did not believe in the ability of the police to be able to deliver at least immediate justice, or even the courts? So it speaks a lot about how we run the country. And then, of course, one other key issue here is that we had these categories of people who are said to have been hunters traveling from Port Harcourt, River State, way up to Edo State. Does it mean that other security agencies did not stop them on the way? If they had these local and then guns, they could also have been asked what they were doing with it and why they were traveling with those ding guns. And if
late at night.
Yeah. I mean, late at night. I mean, so if they actually have had these guns for long, and they have been staying over there, and they were going back to Kano State for the festivities, why did they need to go with the guns? I mean, if they are resident in River State, doesn't it also mean that they could have gone to Kano and then they will be back when the Muslim festivities are over? So there are a lot of things, and this is just to say that the government, from what I've seen, actually, they've really done well. We've seen right from the federal government, we've seen actions, including the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Chief of Defense Staff, saying that before this escalates, you know, the authorities at the state should be supported. And the good thing about it is that the governor of Edo State was in Kano State earlier today, where he met with the governor, and then, of course, the deputy president of the Senate too. He met with him in Abuja. So with all of this, we've seen efforts by the Edo State governor to douse tension, and then the emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi, also saying that, look, there should be no reprisal attacks and all of that. The system has been working very well, but at the biggest of all of this challenge is the people's trust in government, that if these people were arrested and handed over to security agencies, that maybe justice could not have been found. That's why they decided to engage in this mob culture.
Indeed, and that's a good way to get into this discussion. You touched on quite a lot of things, as he has. But I wonder what, before we get into the potential solutions to this problem, I wonder what further details we have about this incident at this stage. I mean, whether there was a particular action or something that someone might have said, or, you know, how perhaps someone reacted amongst those people that triggered this extreme way that the mob reacted? Or was it just the fact that there were guns found with them?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I listened to the video of the driver of that truck. It's a truck belonging to one of the largest cement manufacturers in the company in the country, and he has said that when he was coming down to that highway. I mean, he saw them on the highway and they stopped him to take them, but he told them that the company policy did not allow him to actually get them because he was going to deliver goods. But then he had to turn back after he had left them, being a northerner himself, to go back and carry them since he was going to Kano himself to deliver goods. So he took them. But when they now got to this particular town, Uromi in Edo State, they stopped over, and when they were stopped by this vigilante, the situation that now happened was that they were asked to come down, and himself and one other person were taken to the police station while those hunters were left. But while they were trying to talk and explain to the police officers that they had met on duty, they got wind that some of these vigilante attacked these other hunters when they climbed up and they saw them holding some of these local guns and all of that. And immediately someone said, these are headsmen. Another person said, these are Boko Haram terrorists. And then because in Uromi and Edo suburbs there, they've been having issues of headsmen kidnapping, headsmen going into their farms, and there had been constant reports to the police and security agencies, and nothing much had been done. So there was now that thinking that they should take action, being local vigilantes who hold the trust on behalf of the people there to secure them. They engage in self-help, and that's where the problem of training, like he had said, comes in. What are the rules of engagement for a vigilante group? Aren't they supposed to arrest them and hand them over to the police because they don't have the powers of prosecution or the powers to kill? But just like I said, it's a failure of the citizens to believe in the criminal justice system.
Was it actually the vigilantes who killed them, or was there a mob that came out
well,
and
the vigilantes, like I told you,
created the environment?
Yeah, they've seen. Yeah, I mean, they said, okay, these are headsmen. Another person said, these are Boko Haram terrorists. And then, of course, the idea was, there are guns here. So what do? We need to protect ourselves. And then they started making noise, asking for support. And, of course, residents woke up and all of that. And when people got to that, the atmosphere was charged, and there was no leader. So this driver said eventually when he was brought in back together with the police, the truck had been vandalized, these people had been burnt, and he kept saying that these were people I took, and they are not what you are saying that they are. But of course, the atmosphere was too charged for anyone to want to listen. And so that's why I said the criminal justice system is such in a way that there's a deficit of trust in the ability of the police to be able to prosecute these people and then maybe take them to prison, and people can believe that justice will be served. That's why they resorted to self-help. And so this questions the kind of security architecture we run, because when the idea of having state security policing system like the Amotekun and all of that came up, I remember the late governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, had said that they were going to train a lot of people in Ondo State and all of that, and other Southwest governors who decided to embark on that. Does it mean that in Edo State, when this vigilante group was put in place, that there were no training measures and that they were not aligned alongside security services to provide guidance? And couldn't there have been superior people who would take a look at the sort of guns, to profile the sort of guns, if they are for hunting, or these are guns that could be held by terrorists and all of that? Because in all of this, I haven't heard anyone saying that they were AK-47. The major problem we have in the country right now is that there's no premium on human lives. We don't place premium on human lives. So this happens, and in the next couple of days or 2 or 3 days, this fizzles out and nothing much is done. We move on to the next thing. For example, the issue of the school kids that died sometime in December in Oyo State. I mean, we just keep on moving, and all you hear is that it's been settled out of court. I mean, 30-something kids died.
It's a
we don't
staggering
really know what
number,
exactly
for any country.
Yeah, I mean, even if they reach an out-of-court settlement, what is the government learning from it? How do we preserve human lives? How do we ensure that that doesn't occur again? But what we keep saying is a lethargy in terms of those who are in government to actually put appropriate structures in place for protecting the public space. Because here we have a highway, a public space where people travel across, and it could have been anyone, Charles. It could have been myself, it could have been you.
Absolutely.
And then the thing we have, and the problem that's really causing all of this, is the issue of ethnic profiling. So people just see you, an assumption is that you're from this,
you
you're
look
from that.
this way, and therefore,
meanwhile, we're so multicultural. For example, you see me the way I'm dressed, and someone says, I'm a Muslim, and I'm not a Muslim, I'm a Christian. And you see the way he's dressed, he could also mean the other way around. So when are we going to grow out of the mundane in Nigeria? We thought that we are building a nation out of a country, but the more we keep on moving in our countrywide journey, we discover that we are still divided. Like Awolowo said, that Nigeria is just a geographical space. It's just a country. It's not a nation yet. In our journey to nationhood, we haven't bonded so much to be able to know that we need to have respect for human lives, place a premium on human lives, whether a person comes from the east or west or north. And when people see sometimes the way security forces behave and treat fellow citizens, tell me, why wouldn't the vigilante, want to embark on this? Because they know that there will be no so much repercussions, though we are told about 14 to 15 people have been arrested. Let's wait in the next 3 months. What's going to happen to it? You'll just discover that some of these people will be let go and all of that. And so it brings us to the issue of policing. Very fundamental issue of policing. Now, we have a federal police that's cut across every part of the country. There have been efforts to decentralize policing, but of course those efforts have not paid off very well. When the last administration was about going out, they said they had recruited about 10,000 police officers. Later on, we heard it was supernumerary spy police officers, not the regular policing. The issues of salaries came up and all of that. And we don't see this on the streets, because if this could happen for 30 minutes, 1 hour, and you couldn't see police being present there, then it means we have a security failure. Like he also said, there's this concept of the whole of society approach that the security agencies are adopting, which is good, but unless we have that going down, trickling down to the lowest strata, we'll continue to have this mob violence. Something happens in the markets, the next thing is go bring a petrol, go bring tires, and you hung the neck of people. It could just be anybody. And so how do we prevent this? The National Human Rights Commission needs to come into this too. Because these people have been deprived of their fundamental human rights. And this has happened in different places. Even in the north too. You've seen religious killings in the name of God. You've seen lots of things happening like this. Beheadings and all of that. The war on terrorism. You see how insurgents are killing people. So if we do not place on the plate the fact that people deserve to live first, whether they are whatever religion or whatever ethnic group they are, then there will be a problem. So fundamentally, the National Human Rights Commission should start educating people on the right of citizenship, the need for you to respect another person's right, and then, of course, the National Orientation Agency should join them, and then, of course, the government should also bring up punitive methods to actually deal with people who engage in mob culture. Because if we don't do this, Charles, anybody could be victims. Even the police have been victims of this kind of situation. They get into communities, before you know it, during elections too, policemen are hounded together and they are set ablaze. And nothing happens to them.
Yes.
So we need to place premium on human lives, irrespective of where you're from. Let's understand what it means to be a country, a nation together. That means whether you're from the north, west, south, east, everybody deserves to have a space in court. Everybody deserves to have a space, in the police station if they are arrested, but not taking the laws into your hand. If we continue like this, it's barbarism, and then, of course, it continues to make Nigeria's ratings internationally very low.
Now, with everything where you hear say Sambo talk from beginning to the end, that in the whole country, at this particular moment, there is a state of insecurity. If there should be any kind of state of emergency declaration, it should be on state of insecurity. Then Sambo also went on by saying, when you push people to the wall, in most cases, when they don't trust their government, they don't trust their security forces and all that, they will end up, or rather, resorting to self-help. My people, the way Nigeria they go, so you got to watch your back, you got to protect yourself. Nobody is supporting any kind of lynching, nobody is supporting any kind of killing, any jogos justice. But when one cries out, the government has to listen. Not be say some people, some selected few cried out, you will listen to them. But when the majority cried out, you are not interested. There are people that have been prioritized in this country, and which is a very, very, very big problem that we are facing today. My people, wait till I know. My duty not to carry and can't give you. Your duty not to tell me how you feel for wait till I carry can't give you. My people, like this video, share this video. This is NAIJA Watch Media. Join us every day, 7 p.m. on Nigerian time. Let's interact, talk about the things that's affecting us on our live broadcast. Take care and bye for now.